Good start. No! Bollocks! That was an alright lap as well. This is what I'm worried about for the race. Being able to actually drive consistently on each lap. I'm not getting a lap in, so what's the point? Well, standing at the back. This video is brought to you by my social media. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram or Facebook via the link in the description to make sure that you're always up to date and get extra content. These two did 40.2s, which I haven't done at all. So I'm just going to be tilting around at the back on this one. Which is exactly what happened the last time I raced LMP2s. Playing once a month and having barely driven the LMP2 before. It's probably why. I understand why. It's more a case of, should I be doing it in the first place? It's the positivity that I keep coming back for. I know, right? I'm just so positive. So, hello everyone and welcome to another iRacing video. It's been a while since the last one and I'm in a brand new car this time. I just felt like I wanted to try something different and it was a really interesting race. So, just to get you up to date on what's happening at the start, I obviously qualified in 5th place. The guy who qualified in 3rd place decided to start from the pit lane for whatever reason, which meant he was way back after the very start. And then the guy who qualified in 4th place was also miles behind at the line. You can probably see him very much in the distance of my rear view mirror, which was again unusual that he wasn't sticking together, but obviously with the top two, in 1st and 2nd places in terms of where they qualified, I just sat in right behind them at the very start and stayed in that 3rd place, so gained 2 positions just through doing nothing really, just by staying close to them during the pace lap. And as usual for me and iRacing, I came into this race with not too much practice and this car was very new to me, so I knew I was off the pace coming into the race, and I just made sure that in the early stages, because I was kind of worried about not being able to be consistent, just making sure that I was settling into the race and finding my rhythm. So what series was I actually doing? What are we racing here? Well, this is the IMSA series, which is only available to people with the highest A level of license, and it's basically the highest level of closed cockpit racing in iRacing. I obviously got that A license from doing the 24 hours of Nürburgring race, which really increased my safety rating, and I did the necessary races to get that, and I haven't really utilized it by doing any A license races, and this was one of the first that I'd ever done in terms of only people with an A license in terms of their safety rating are allowed to enter this race. So in the IMSA series there's 3 classes. The GTPs are the fastest, LMP2 is in the middle, and GT3s are the slowest. Now I'd raced the LMP2 once before and actually quite enjoyed it, so I figured I'd just throw myself in, but it wasn't very well populated, with only 5 people racing this car in this session. And that's really down to the GTPs. It's a new introduction with a lot of these cars, and a lot of people are buying those cars and wanting to race those as well. I didn't have one, I only had an LMP2, and it's also, the LMP2 is a bit of an easier car to drive, I believe, so since I already had it, I figured I'd give myself the easiest way to do it, because I wasn't going in with much practice. Now, all 5 of us in this session were placed in the top split because there was only 5 of us. So all the GTPs and the GT3s in this race were basically racing at the highest level possible, with drivers having some crazy levels of iRating. So, some of the very best drivers, and then there was us in the LMP2s in the middle, and in the middle of that there was little old me, just trying to survive and find my way through. Now, not an awful lot happens in the early stages of this race. They are relatively long races, by the way, maybe 30-40 minutes, but not an awful lot happens early on, because all the classes are fairly well spaced out, as you can probably see from the track map, apart from the person who was, he qualified in 4th place and he was still in 4th place at the line, who started behind me quite far back, he started to catch up to me as I was, making small mistakes and really just didn't really have the pace because I was, I was just practicing as I was racing essentially and figuring out how to drive the best that I could. But the middle of the race is where things start to get interesting because I had to deal with overtaking the slower cars, being overtaken by the faster cars, pit stops, and actually getting competitive towards the middle part of the race as I was starting to get more comfortable. So what I'll do is I'll let all that play out as it happened because despite there only being 5 drivers in my class, all the other cars made it a really fun experience actually, so I hope you continue to enjoy. I mean, the guy behind me is definitely quicker than me. Everybody is. He just had a bad first few laps, so he's going to come past me at some point, I imagine.
The car in P2, just at the fastest lap, 39.529.
Got no confidence on the brakes. It's where I'm losing all the time.
Right side.
I hate that corner so much, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. This is where the guy who started from the pit lane and was 35 seconds back at one point ends up catching me up by the end of the race and passing me. 41.2, still not in the 40s. First time I've been quicker than anybody else on that last lap. I was 0.3 quicker than the guy in front. Now I won't be. So we're not going to be too far away from starting to overtake some of the GT3s. This was a bad lap, I lost a lot of time. First lap I was quicker than the guy in front, and then I do another lap where I'm like a couple of seconds slower. Damn it. Consistency is difficult. To be fair, we never know what might happen during the overtaking part. With all these GT3s to overtake, and the LMDHs are probably going to come and overtake us, so just got to keep it going.
Left side. Clear. side. Clear on the left. Establishing fastest lap position.
First ever 140.
Faster traffic approaching. Right side.
I was 1.1 seconds quicker than the guy in front on that last lap.
You got about 5 laps of fuel left. Car on your left. Clear on the left.
Oh, am I gonna have to do a pit stop? Oh, I am gonna have to do a pit stop. I didn't even think about it.
Car on your left. Clear on the left.
That's something else I'm gonna have to figure out. I guess I can just tick the auto fuel box and let it do its thing. Make sure you don't change tyres. Shit, I need to figure all this out.
The lead is spinning now.
Half the battle is actually remembering what all the buttons do on my steering wheel to control all of this. Alright.
Back in third. Keep hustling. Left side. Clear on the left. Faster traffic approaching.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Okay. Tyres replace is not ticked. Okay, so I'm good with that.
Left side. Clear on the left. Right side. Clear. A group of faster cars approaching. Right side. Still there. You're in the middle, 3 wide. Left side, 2 wide. Clear. You're in third. The car behind you is busy. Go on your left. Clear on the left. Right side. Clear. Right side. Clear. Group of faster cars approaching. Left side. Still there, hold your line. Clear. You've got about 2 laps of fuel left.
I'm just gonna keep going until the last moment. I'm in clear air now. I think now might be the moment. I don't want to risk another lap. I think I could do another lap, but
You have about 1 lap of fuel left.
I think I'm going to get a penalty.
Box in. 5, 3, 2, 1. Right here. Okay, go.
I definitely think I'm going to get a penalty. I've never gone into the pit lane before on Monza.
Group of faster cars approaching. The car behind is pitting.
Alright, here's all the LMDHs now. We've been overtaking a lot of GT3s, now we're going to have to get overtaken by a lot of LMDHs.
We're in a podium position. Faster car coming up quick. Car right. Clear on the right. Car right. Clear.
Alright, get back into it. That was close. So during that pit stop phase, have I really gone from 4th to 2nd? Holy cow! I think someone disconnected 2nd place. And then I've overcut, well, I overtook him as he went into the pit lane, but the guy in 3rd who I was catching, I'll have to look at the replay and figure out what happened. And that's something we can do exactly now. So the thing that happened to 2nd place was basically that he came out of the pit lane, probably still on cold tyres or whatever, and got out of shape into the first chicane and the 2nd chicane and spun it. And at the end, he ended up getting collected by a car that was trying to pass him behind. And obviously the damage to his car was so great that he just thought he would leave because there was no point in carrying on in the race. So that was a position that I gained through, again, sort of consistency really, because he made the mistake and I didn't, and you know, even if he'd have continued on in the race rather than disconnecting, I still would have got that position from him. When it comes to the guy who I was actively racing before he went into the pits, who was in 3rd place at the time, I'd obviously caught up a lot during that period and I basically passed him as he came into the pits, but then he spent an awful long time in the pit lane, and I don't really know why, whether he had a penalty or something like that, but ultimately he just spent a long time in the pit lane, and that position, I basically kept it and extended it because I just did a fairly normal pit stop. So yeah, that was how I got those 2 positions, and I was pretty happy about it at the time. Gotta keep it clean. I'm miles ahead of 3rd and 4th. I'm never catching 1st, so I really do just need to keep it clean. So yeah, that was a really intense middle part of this race. I'd gone from, 4th and losing a lot of time to catching up to 3rd place, overtaking just before he made his pit stop, obviously getting the position after the pit stop issues that he had, and with 2nd place also having issues, I was in a very, good 2nd place, and with massive gaps behind me, all I had to do was keep it clean and make sure that I could make it to the end. Obviously that's easier said than done because I didn't have an awful lot of experience with this car. I'd already had a few scary moments with it where I could have spun it or done the thing that the 2nd place guy did before he crashed out, and also I was having to get overtaken by these faster GTP cars as well, so it was still in the balance. But in terms of my position, I didn't need to push it too much, but I just had to make sure that I could make it to the end, and the question was whether I was going to be able to do that. But so far I'd had such a good race and I'd really enjoyed myself. It was it's really fun to be back in multi-class racing again and having to overtake faster cars and also having to overtake slower cars and also be overtaken by faster cars. So as we come onto the final lap, I'll let it all play out and you can see how it all finished. Last lap. What a race. I've had so much fun.
out 2 laps of fuel.
And off track at the end. Second for life.
Flag, it's over. Great
Wow.
job, you did really well.
Can't believe it. The dentists would be proud. Did I set my best lap on the last lap? If not my best, I equaled it. Second for life? That was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that. I did get quicker as the race went on, but like, to get second out of that. Thanks for the GGs. Wow, I set the exact same lap on my last lap as I did on lap 9. 140.814. That's crazy. But yeah, quite up and down with my laps to be expected, I suppose. But I mean, I was catching up to the guy in front of me before the pit stops really quick. Made a mistake and then got collected. But I guess the damage was so much that there was no point in continuing, so he just disconnected. So it wasn't even like I would have beaten him anyway. It wasn't like that he got disconnected and that's how I gained his position, because he was in the pit lane for long enough that I would have finished second regardless, even if he'd continued. So that is a genuine second place through not making mistakes and whatnot. I'm happy. Safety rating down 0.01, but hey, got a plus on the iRating from that. That was top split because there was only 5 LMP2s, but yeah, I'll take it. I'll take a second. Didn't have as good of a best lap, but I had the better race, I guess. And I was catching up to him quite well before the pit stops, so yeah, I'm happy. That was fun. And I really enjoyed the race in general, like the pit stop phase, the overtaking of the GT3s, the getting overtaken of the GTPs. I don't know, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. I'd like to get better.